The marriage breakdown.
It became impossible for me to stay with my family.
Parents divorced.
I actually declared homeless when I was in a volatile relationship.
I lost me mum and me dad.
It just knocks the bottom out of your world when you don't fit anywhere.
I didn't really apply for any jobs because I just found it too daunting. I knew that, at some point I'd come to this stage where, I'd be filling in a CV and I'd have to disclose all my convictions.
I remember when I first started working at The Big Issue, I had this really idealistic view, and there was a young lady who was selling The Big Issue, and she'd been abused when she was younger. There were certain things that she wanted to do, and I was like, right, okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to this place because they'll be able to help you with that. Then we can do this because then they'll do that. And then, essentially by next Thursday, you'll be employed and you'll work full time and you'll have your own place, and you'll probably have a car and you'll be sorted. It took a different colleague to say, let's just pull it back a bit. They need to be her ideas. She needs to be ready for those things. It's good that you can show her those things, but you need to show it a slow, informed, gentle pace.
People could still hold prejudices, and that's something I get kind of concerned about, I'd say.
Lost me mum in 2016 and lost me dad when I was 11. So life has been like a very tough mark on me, you know what I mean? Around about 11 or 12, I came out of school. You're a kid, you think to yourself, it doesn't matter anyway, just leave it. What's happening now in my life now? I thought to myself, education really is important to me, you know what I mean? And I'm at the right stage to do it now. I'm 18, I'm doing all my qualifications and whatever, so even though there's a big gap there, I'm filling in that gap for that employer to actually listen to what I have to say to him and to understand that, to think, right, yeah, well, this boy, and especially what he's been through, this boy have a lot of potential, he's eager to do it.
I feel it would be good to have a safe space somewhere that I could kind of openly talk to them about my concerns and anything that I thought was getting in the way, whether it's other employees or just anything really, just somewhere I could talk about it confidentially.
You wonder whether you can still do anything useful. It takes a lot of confidence just to talk to people because, you're worried about the stigma.
At the Woolwich, we have a target that 25% of our workforce should have experienced homelessness themselves. We think that as an organisation, we need to put our money where our mouth is in relation to this. We are quite a big employer. We employ about 370 people. We want people to bring in that experience and have that diversity.
The transition into employment can be very difficult. The BOSS project looks to support them by increasing their skills and linking them up with employers. Some of the employers, it's the unknown which makes it difficult for them to take on individuals. So the more they can be educated, the more they can understand those individuals' backgrounds and some of the issues they face, the easier it is for them to employ them, and easier it is for them to keep them in employment as well.
A lot of the guys that we meet through the Woolwich are skilled workers who have possibly fallen on hard times. If you do look past the person's issues and the person's previous life, there's a good skilled workforce out there.
Around Central Square, where we're currently undertaking 3 large construction projects, we actually displaced a number of homeless people. That caused us to think maybe we could help in some way. We've actually placed 3 people on our sites in Cardiff.
The guys won't have a CV, so we hold regular job fairs where we'll meet with individuals and we'll get to know those individuals personally. Biggest barrier is confidence. Some guys can be very, very guarded and very put off by senior managers. So we try to bridge that gap really, and that's where the trust issue comes in, and that's where from the very start of the process we get to know that person and we will introduce that person to the company.
And that trust transfers to us then in terms of trying to make that person feel that they can take on a job.
We also provide in-work support, so we would have regular meetings with that individual and the employer just to discuss what's working well, what isn't working well, and how we can address any concerns that do arise.
We put extra layers of management into that, and we provide people who you might call buddies to work closely with them initially.
There's budgeting issues that we've realised. The guys were getting paid on a Friday and spending all of their money and not realising that everybody has to pay tax and national insurance and bills and food. So it's almost a change in mindset, and that's where we try to keep in contact with the guys after they started work.
We're better equipped going forward to identify the difficulties that these guys have, appreciate more their backgrounds, and also in appreciating their backgrounds in the right way, put that to one side and concentrate on giving them employment, giving them an equal opportunity in the way that you give anybody else that opportunity.
If this didn't happen, to be honest, I couldn't really tell you where I would be. Probably jail. So this has been a big impact on my life, a big turning point in my life.
A lot of the time it's not the first step which is the most difficult, it's the second step or third step for them. And so they need that ongoing support.
I've got someone I can talk to about things that are happening outside work, you know, how I'm managing money. I feel that there are people there who I can turn to if I'm struggling.
Without work, that was part of my all-time low, was being without work, and now that I'm back in work, it's just a way forward.